We're at the house on Summer Drive in Pinetop Lakeside. This is a mixed area with homes and mobiles. Some are a little bit better maintained than others. I can tell you right now, there is something that's concerning me about the outside of this house. It's the way this fireplace situation is done. They've got the chimney all the way up, but it gets super close right up in this area. It's real close to the wood. And it looks a little bit like, right in this area, looks a little bit scorched or damaged. And you can see that entire area behind that chimney is all damaged. That is a concern. And this is the old original type of rock that they used to use for fireplaces. I can't quite figure out why they didn't continue it all the way up. Now, this was a window. They've obviously got a portable air conditioner in there that they put a board into and basically are using it for that, and they blocked off the rest of the window. Let's see, we've got chinking missing out of the rock fireplace, and it's starting to pull away a little bit. Now, when you have pine needles in an area that can collect where there is a potential for spark to happen, that's not the most comforting feeling. Single pane window right there. It's gonna need all new. Right there, seal around the edge. It's about to fall out. The logs on the back side of the house are in pretty rough shape. Broken pane of glass I see right here, single pane again. This is broken right here. That is not code at all. I don't know what that's venting for, but that is not the way it's supposed to be done. The shed roof, I just saw something that's a little odd. It's got a metal roof on it, but apparently it's had at least 3-4 layers of shingles. Either that or they had a gap in the roof right there and they stuffed it full of other shingles so that the metal wouldn't lift off. Okay, right here we have earth to wood contact. That's never a good thing. We don't have a lot of termites, but we do have subterranean. And when you've got a log cabin, you could get termites in it at the drop of a hat. I don't know why that's the way that is right there. That's weird. The entire outside edge of this, or outside of the cabin so far, looks like it needs to be sandblasted and restained. All the windows need caulking. In fact, I'm not even sure you could open this window. Yeah, you couldn't open this window. You'd have to force old caulking out of the way. Same goes for this one. Well, that one might open, but it looks like it's pinched closed. And I'll tell you how you can tell. The gap up there at the top is non-existent at the bottom. So somebody's going to have a real hard time opening that window. Again, more earth to wood contact. This entire side of the house has earth to wood contact where the bottom layer is touching the dirt. That's a condition that's conducive to infestation. Front patio. Carpet is not in great shape. The floor underneath my feet feels like it goes up and down. I think this was concrete, and I think it was starting to crack and buckle. And to cover it up, they put this outdoor carpet in. Kind of just put spray in foam insulation in some areas just so that there's no gaps. This is also not the proper way to support this porch. That hanger doesn't look like it's doing much of anything. Same with that. And the same with that. I'd say that the bottom pieces of metal that they've got down here are what's probably holding these in place more than anything. This was done by them. This was not done by a professional. Because that's not code. Especially this business right here. This is going to settle right here. Eventually this wood is going to start to dry out and it's going to settle because that was cut to the wrong length, and all they've got underneath of it is a bunch of shims holding it in place. Okay, next we will go in. So we're standing just inside the front door. And you can pretty evidently see the floor sloping off. I mean, it's got a significant slope from here down. And that could partially be happening because of that earth to wood contact. Old cabinetry is the original. Pantry through here. I can tell you it feels like we're walking uphill right here. It kind of feels like it's about to crest and walk down again. They've been very prolific with their spray insulation foam. It's all over. The kitchen is essentially 2 large uppers and a small, and then the area under the sink, and then one area right there. Very small kitchen. Electrical for the most part is run across the surface. This will not meet code at all. This is a fire hazard right here. Bathroom. Small little washstand. The tub surround is basically caulked together. It's fallen apart several times and they didn't want to replace it, so they caulked it to hold it together. You can see over here on this side where it's come apart down there on the bottom again. They've also had damage to the wall right there, probably from overspray. Now, it doesn't look good, but at least this wiring is in conduit. It's not great looking, but it is in the conduit. Well, this is one of the bedrooms. It is small. Ooh, and the flooring is bubbled right here. You can kind of see where there's damage right there. Somebody didn't know how to lay flooring properly, and there's a bubble or a hump right there where the flooring has started to come apart. And it just continues to slide all off towards this wall. So when you walk through here, you feel like you're a little bit drunk. The TV is practically bigger than the bed. I mean, the barn door is great, the knotty pine is great, but if this continues to settle like this knotty pine is going to start to crack, and when it cracks, you can't do anything about it. Little dining room table. There's not much room here from a bigger table, being honest, because if you put a bigger table in here, you're going to have a hard time walking around it. Now, I just saw this on the sink. Spigots. I mean, granted, that's the same purpose, but it doesn't really have a faucet. It's just spigots coming through the wall, and then the tile is all kind of broken out around it and cracked. This is what happens when there's settling. And you've got a tile on the wall like that. Something has to give, and things start cracking, like here and through here, and again up through here. All of that starts to give at some point. Missing trim. If you look just on the surface and just don't really pay attention to details, yeah, it's cute. But if you have to start fixing some of these things, it's going to start being a bit of a problem. Now, the stairs going upstairs are rather steep, and they're a little on the narrow side. So I'm going to pause the video while I go upstairs. Okay, I just traversed these steps, and I can tell you with all honesty, they're a little scary. The width of it is pretty narrow, basically from shoulder to shoulder, and they are incredibly steep, spaced quite a few inches apart, far more than normal. And the last step up, the step broke, which is why it's got like this white streak. So it's not as wide as the other ones. That step is super narrow, and there's a big step up from there up. It's kind of scary, being honest. So these are the beams for the ceiling. There are no other rafters for this house. And I can tell you that the way this is done, let me come over here to this one. right here. On a regular set of rafters, there's usually a connecting plate from one rafter to the other one so that they don't separate if the house starts shifting. And usually there's a piece that comes across here for additional bracing to tie them together. This has nothing like that. And it's even worse on this one. They're completely misaligned. If you start looking, they are almost all the way across. Okay, so there's a duct coming through for the hot water tank right there. And the one that was coming from the outside that wasn't code was for this furnace unit right there. That was completely not done to code. More spray foam to fill in the gaps. Railing doesn't look like it's terribly secure either. A little wobbly. But, ooh. This one has had enough spray foam in it. That log has moved quite a bit, and they've had to put in a whole lot of spray foam. I am going to be completely honest with you. Run, don't walk, but run from this property. I see things here that are going to start being a very, very costly fix. And if it doesn't happen soon, it could start happening at any time. I mean, literally, you could be, at any point in time, you could start to have thousands upon thousands of dollars of repairs on this little cabin. I'm standing 2 steps down on the railing. You have to grab these railings up here to be able to get down in any amount of safety. And I have to show you how much these move. They have braced this across because they know that they don't have it structurally sound and that it would move. So this is completely unsafe. Major safety hazard.